ingredient that the Creator wanted to add. She moved jars around, looking for one special jar she remembered she had, but had never used before. She carefully lifted down a jar labeled Freedom. This time she had to read the label because she didn't remember exactly what was in the jar.
This compound contains choice, to choose one thing instead of another. Use cautiously because the choices made will have consequences. This will make it especially interesting.
Indeed it does.
It sure does.
I wonder what freedom will do for these new beings.
She held open the jar in her hands, slowly turning it as she looked down into it. A soft chuckle rambled out of her mouth and into the jar. A tear trickled down her cheek and into the jar also. She leaned over and blew in her warm breath, then poured the Freedom into the mix. And then she screwed on the cover and put the jar away. Her new planet was ready to be sent into the star-speckled darkness. Her new planet landed just where she intended, about 93 million miles from her favorite sun. The Creator watched her planet settle into its new home and waited to see what would happen.
May all the beings that I've created live together in harmony and health, enjoying the beauty of the planet that surrounds them. May it be so. Blessed be.
But some things didn't quite go as the Creator had planned, and this is why we are celebrating Earth Day, to remind us that with our free choice comes responsibility.
As a species, we human beings have not always made the best decisions with our freedom of choice. Our modern society is built on meeting our short-term needs and wants, regardless of the long-term effects on our planet. As a result, our Earth and many of our fellow humans and animals on this planet are paying the price for our greed and short-sightedness. We take the tops off of mountains to get the coal out. We pollute the land and the waters with oils in an attempt to meet our energy consumption levels. Last month there was an oil spill in Lake Michigan near Chicago, which hits pretty close to home. The aftermath of our overconsumption and our lifestyle choices wreak havoc with disposables all the way around the world, with the garbage that we create. The raw materials used to make our products are removed from the earth. People are paid pennies to make them, and the remains of what we discard are piled all over the earth. We value convenience and cheap prices over durability and sustainability. There are enormous patches of garbage in the Pacific Ocean the size of Texas floating on the currents. Many animals suffer needlessly due to our carelessness. Easy access to oil and gas are a thing of the past, yet demand for energy remains high. So now we're fracking the earth to bring up natural gas, and we're polluting our water in the process. The after effects of deforestation and fossil fuel emissions around the world are contributing to global warming, which is creating human-caused climate change that is transforming our world before our eyes. Extreme weather patterns, more frequent and intense storms are symptoms of this change, not to mention melting glaciers and rising sea levels. Government officials in the Maldives conducted business underwater to draw attention to the seriousness of the issue, as their island homes are being flooded. It's easy to get overwhelmed and feel despair due to the enormity of the problems today. But on the bright side, we do have free choice. We have the ability to make different choices so that we can lessen the negative impacts that we have on the environment. And we can bring healing to ourselves and to the earth. I feel it is imperative that we have hope for us that enough people are going to wake up before it's too late. We can make choices to live more sustainably on this planet. Our 7th UU principle states that we affirm and promote respect for the interdependent web of life, of which we are a part. This value that many of us in this room hold, that we hold dear, informs our actions and how we try to live in the world. These daily choices about how we live, our religious values, about how to be in right relations with ourselves, with each other, and with the earth. What we buy and what we throw away are religious decisions that we make in relationship with others. Because I receive my spiritual sustenance from nature, it feels even more imperative in my life to try to live as lightly as I can on this earth. I want an earth that has healthy habitats for all animal species. This includes clean beaches for us to enjoy each summer. When our People's Church group goes on our camping trip to South Haven, I don't want to swim in an oil slick. It includes clean water for everybody to have access to and the whole world to be able to drink when they're thirsty. I want my grandchildren and their grandchildren to know the wonder and the joy of spending time in nature and the miracle and diversity that's found on this amazing planet of which we are a part. But in order for that to happen, we all need to remember and to be aware, educated, and active citizens. We are so fortunate that we live in a democracy, but this democracy is only as effective as the informed people who are educated and involved and active participants. Contact your government representatives. Let them know your preferences on the issues that are important to you. If they don't know what we think, then they're going to continue to follow their own path, what isn't always in the best interest of the good of the whole, even though that is what we elect them to do. We need to pay attention to how much we buy and what it's made out of, and think about where it comes from and what we're going to do when we're done with it. Is it durable? Is it something I need? Is it something that can be fixed if it gets broken? Or is it just disposable? And we buy all these disposable products and they end up in garbage dumps everywhere, poisoning our water. We also need to be able to combat the pervasive messages from advertisers telling us that we need more and more and new and better and the latest and the greatest gadgets that exist, when perhaps our old one is just fine, even though it doesn't have the latest, greatest effects on it. And we need to be able to differentiate our wants from our needs. The old adage of the 3 hours still has a lot of wisdom for us. If we reduce and not buy as much, and we reuse the stuff we have, and try to shop at secondhand stores and donate our old things that we don't use anymore, and recycle everything we can, it makes a difference. It's important for us to be educated about what we can do, care enough to actually do it, and be willing to take action even though it is not the most easiest or most convenient option. Our future depends on it, and the future of many of the other species that share this planet with us. Now, all of us do some of this stuff, at least some of the time. And I think one of the gifts of Earth Day is that it reminds us that we all need to do more of this stuff more of the time. It's a daily choice, and sometimes life, the reality of life, is that we need convenience, or we're going to go crazy. I know that feeling, and it's something I grapple with all the time. But I grapple with it. I just don't always go for convenience. I try to figure out what I can do to keep my sanity and to still try to minimize my negative impact on the earth. We can do this. We are imbued with free choice. And with that free choice comes responsibility. How can we live on this planet so that we're in harmony with the earth and all the other creatures on here? And how can we use the responsibility that comes with that freedom wisely? We have more power than we give ourselves credit for. The power of how and where we spend our money, it makes a difference. We can choose to eat locally grown, organic, real food instead of the chemically laden food-like products that line our supermarket shelves. It's better for our health and it's better for the earth. We can choose to eat lower on the food chain more often. We can choose to drive less, bike more, buy less, recycle more. All of these choices we make every day make a big difference. Human beings have created this problem, and it's up to us to change things. Each one of us, one choice at a time, every single day. We have the ability to use our free choice to live in harmony and to live sustainably on our Mother Earth. We can choose to do this and to tell our neighbors and our families and our friends that it's actually a more life-affirming and rewarding way of living, to live lightly on the earth and to live in harmony with each other and with all species on this planet. I know we got this. And hope is what keeps us moving forward. When we get too overwhelmed and we move into despair, it can lead to just like, I just need to go watch TV and not even think about this right now. Or maybe I'll just shop at the mall, because that kind of numbs things out. But we can make some better choices to live more gently and more in harmony. Now, last Sunday, I asked the children, what can you do? What are you willing to do to help in your life to live more lightly on this earth? What action for Earth are you willing to commit to this year? Last year we did this at our Earth Day service, and we wrote them our actions for Earth on ribbons that we hung out next to the labyrinth. And only in the last month did our rope broke that we tied between two trees. So they have been fluttering in the breeze all year long. And so now we need a new, we're going to create a tree and put it up on the wall and the earth. And the children have cut out hundreds of green paper leaves, which you will notice somewhere near your chair. And I asked the kids, what action are you willing to take to commit for the earth this year? And will you write it on your leaf? And we are going to decorate this tree on the wall with all of our leaves, with all of our actions that we're willing to commit to this year, to remind us throughout the year, because in this society, it's easy to forget. So we are asking you to do the same today. So before you leave today, take a moment to locate your leaf. On the edges of every aisle are crayons, markers. If you have a dark green leaf, there's some white chalk that shows up on those. And just take a moment to think, what action are you willing to take in your life this year? Just pick one. You don't have to write them all down because they're not very big. So pick one thing and just jot it down. And if you want to write your name on it, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. And then the baskets where we took the chocolates from, we will fill them with leaves as we exit. And we will decorate the wall with these. So why don't you just take a moment, right at this moment, to get a writing utensil, locate your leaf, find a writing utensil from the aisle. You might need to ask your neighbor to pass one down. And write on your leaf. And if you need a few more moments to think, we're going to do some more singing, and we have some more wonderful things planned. And so you can do that anytime between now and when you leave church today. I think that the hope of this story of the Creators Workshop is the message that we have free choice. And Earth Day reminds us that that gives us responsibility to live in peace and harmony. May it be so. And now I would like Daryl and Bill to come up and join us in singing and lead us in singing Blue Boat Home. You are welcome to stand as you are willing and able.